Welcome to Sunshine State of Mind. I'm Andy.
And I'm Shannon. How's it going?
It's going good. It's
happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary and a day. An anniversary and a week.
Yes. Well, it's not actually an anniversary. I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, if it was an anniversary, it would be,
it would be the date.
The date.
But it's our 101st episode.
It's our 101st.
Which is crazy. And I wouldn't even know that if it wasn't for Apple automatically putting the numbers before each of our podcasts.
After we saw it, oh, that was 100. That was episode 100. And we forgot to mention anything about that on the episode. That was kind of a big milestone.
Right. And then you said, well, 100 is still a part of the original, centennial?
Yeah.
And then 101 is really the one that you should celebrate. It's the milestone, right? Because
nobody likes to think of that. Everybody celebrates the millennium or
100 is more cool sounding.
But things technically don't really, restart until the 101st.
Sorry, but are you celebrating the restarting or are you celebrating the achievement of hitting 100?
I think you're celebrating the achievement of hitting 100, which we forgot to do because we didn't even know about it till we saw that, that was episode 100.
Yes.
Thank you,
So now
Apple.
we're going to celebrate 101.
101. And we are going to celebrate the 101st episode by doing a redux. We're going to revisit our very first episode when we were not knowing what we were doing.
Which actually was exactly 100 episodes ago because you don't start at 0, you start
right.
at 1.
So 100 episodes ago,
yes,
we did our favorite roller coasters in Florida episode.
Right.
Because we were trying to find content and trying to think of stuff to talk about.
And look at us, 100 episodes later, just full of content.
We haven't run out of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
It's good.
And to do a weekly show about just stuff happening in Florida. And
I mean, I vividly remember before starting you worrying a lot about us running out of content.
Well, that's why I wanted to talk about current events and stuff.
Right, which we do.
And things that are happening because you'll never run out of that. There's
but
always going to be
even if we
some
didn't
new thing.
talk about current events, I mean, we don't talk about current events throughout the whole episode.
No, only if
ever.
there's really something to talk about.
Yeah, so
otherwise we just make up, listicles and
I don't feel like we're anywhere near close to running out of content.
No.
Because
I hope not.
Florida's full of content.
People still keep coming here.
All you got to do is read the newspaper, and
if we wanted to make this a Florida Man podcast,
right?
We would never run out of stuff to talk about.
There would be a ton of things to talk about.
I think I mentioned this. I wanted to do a second Florida Man podcast with some friends of mine.
Yeah, you did mention it.
And I saw there's already 10 of them, and I'm like, well, we could be the 11th one, and it's still fun to do, but
you'd have fun because you'd be drinking beer with your friends.
That was the idea. We all get together and have a few beers.
You
and talk
could
about
also
Florida
do
Man.
that without having a podcast.
But if there's no one to listen, did it actually happen?
Yeah. I think it does happen.
Maybe we'll do it, but it's hard to get people together.
It's like going to an event and having to take your picture for social media. If you didn't take your picture, did it happen?
Of course it did.
Of course it did.
I love people like that who they have to take a selfie everywhere they go to share it, to say, that thing didn't happen, that your trip to the Starbucks didn't happen.
Right.
Unless most mundane things.
Although for me, because I really feel like in my old age, my memory is completely failing me at times. Especially when you start talking about things we did 10 or 15 years ago. Why are you looking at my hair? Is it standing up or something?
One strand sticking up that I only see it because of the lights.
I see his eyes look up.
There you go.
Did you get it?
I got it.
Thank you.
I think so. It's just the lights are reflecting off of it.
It was very obvious. He's looking at me and then he looks up and then he looks look at me. Now I forgot what I was gonna say. Because you start talking about stuff that we did 15 years ago, and I'm like, yeah, I have no memory.
I have a weird memory.
You have a really good. You have the memory of an elephant. Aren't elephants the one that supposedly have good memories?
Supposedly.
I don't know how people know that. I mean, I don't know if they
gave them a test,
did some kind of Rorschach test to see if I don't know. Anyway, but so social media for me is really terrific because it reminds me of what I did and the good times that I had. So that's why I kind of like to take pictures. I don't like to upload it on social media right then because, like you said, I like to experience the moment, experience the event that we're at. But I like to take a lot of pictures because I do like to upload it on social media later so I can go back and look.
And you get that alert a year
later,
says,
right?
Hey, this is what you did a year later.
And I mean, yeah, of course, I could go back through my photos and look at what I did a year ago. But am I going to do that? Probably not.
You're going to be turning to me, who I've got just
thousands of photos that you'll never
pictures.
You'll never look at again.
I take pictures of where I go, and then I
promptly forget about them.
Well, I don't so much promptly forget about them, but I don't really go through them as good.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a unique problem. I think a lot of people have this issue, and then
it is because
your hard drive just fills up with pictures, and I've got I'll take 6 versions of the same exact shot.
Yeah.
Just in case there's that one I like better, and then I don't delete the 5 bad ones.
Well, and I've seen online, people talking about different ways that you can organize your photographs and stuff like that. So I know it is a real thing that people
the struggle is real
struggle with. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to talk about roller coasters.
Let's talk about roller coasters. But before we talk about roller coasters, I want to talk about we have a brand new way to support the show.
Yes.
And we just launched a t-shirt site called sunshinestateshirts.com. So we'll link to that in the show notes.
Yep.
And if you guys want to go check that out, we got about a dozen designs on there right now that we kind of created out of our own
imagination.
Out of our own imaginations. About a dozen designs on there now. We're going to put more on there as we go. Yeah. So it's a great way to support the show, support the podcast, and actually buy something, get something out of it. There's some t-shirts on there. There's mugs and hoodies and things like that. They start at around $17 for your basic shirt, and then $16-17, which is about typical going rate for a t-shirt. And
we basically tried to design t-shirts that we would actually
what
wear.
I would wear. I'm I'd wear this.
Yeah,
I'd wear this.
Because we don't want to just have a t-shirt that says,
Florida
at Florida Podcast
with a picture of a gator on it.
Yeah, or something promoting our podcast, which we do want to probably do some of that too, because we see people, especially at Disney, wearing shirts that promote whatever they're on.
Those custom
and we want to do
team shirts that everyone in their group is wearing.
Yeah. So we want to do something like that for ourselves, and we'll probably eventually put some up there that talk about the podcast in some way or something. But right now it's mostly just we have a Florida man one. We have a couple of Florida man ones.
One that does have our logo on it, our podcast logo on there.
Yep. One that
Keep Florida Weird.
Yeah.
There's the one that I designed where I took the California flag and changed it. I Floridianized it.
Yes.
There's about a dozen on there. Oh, and we love, I love talking about my capitals of the world.
Yeah.
So I've got a whole list of ideas for capitals of the world type shirts for different cities. So right now, that's the thing that I know that the New Smyrna Beach Tourist Bureau probably hates talking about, that they're the shark attack capital of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
But
that's okay.
That's okay.
That's what they're known for.
Someone will rock that on a t-shirt. Yeah. So stuck that on there.
One that I came up with, because you guys know I love Harry Potter, is Sunshine is my Patronus. So that's, I think, one of my favorites. And our daughter came up with one that's up there as well. And we're going to probably tweak that one maybe a little bit, but I think it's a really cool idea. It's a heroes lot, and then eventually we're going to have a villains lot one. And it's
it's where you park at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, Hook, Jafar, Zurg and Scar, I think is, or right. Zurg, Jafar, Hook and Scar.
Yeah, they kind of rhyme. There's a poetry to it when you see it.
So, and she actually drew the tram that is on that t-shirt.
She did.
She's a pretty good little budding artist. So
it's not hard. It's not easy to just find a picture of the tram that you're able to use. So
not like a graphic of
no.
it, yeah.
So we put her to work and said, draw this tram.
She did a great job. Yeah, so check it out.
Cool. So love it. Yeah. SunshineStateShirts.com. Christmas is coming. All right. Let's get into the new thing. Now, the very first episode we did was our favorite roller coasters. We talked about our favorite roller coasters that are in Florida, across Disney, Universal, Busch Gardens, SeaWorld, Legoland,
right,
and beyond.
And you put out.
There was I did a YouTube.
You did a survey.
This predates. Well, before we even did this podcast, we mentioned this infamous video a few times. It's on YouTube right now. It's the top 10 roller coasters in Florida, and it's a video that I made just for fun. I was trying to get into these listicle videos and do things Florida. Before the podcast, I was trying to get this YouTube channel off the ground. Turns out it's really hard to sit and make a list all the time and edit videos. It's time consuming unless it's your job. But this video went kind of crazy. It got lots and lots of hits.
It did, and a lot of comments.
And it's got a lot of comments, and it's got a lot of anger and vitriol. And every time I'm logged into that account, I see all these people, yelling at me showing up in the
If you haven't
comments.
checked it out, you should definitely check it out because it's a good video, and B, the comments are really entertaining.
And there's a lot of thumbs downs, almost as many as because dude, this is the stupidest list ever.
Yeah, they do not like the
list fail, man. Like I see that all the time, and
that's okay. I mean, everybody's got different opinions. Right?
What I learned though, and I didn't go into that list trying to be controversial.
Oh, but you did.
I did, but I learned though, if you're gonna make a YouTube video and you aim for, I didn't do it. I didn't purposely intend to do this, but
yeah.
Now you learn that why some of like these top 10 lists, they'll put something number one
like
that's
stupid,
totally stupid, because they know people will comment, and
right.
then the comment drives engagement, and then YouTube sees that, and then it goes up the chain. So the next,
more stupid lists coming your way.
More stupid lists are going to come. The best, most fun city in Florida, the Villages.
right.
Forget Orlando or Miami.
If you're 70, it's fun.
Yeah, I guess so that'll get lots and lots of lots of hits. No, but so I did that list, and what people really hated was they hated that I chose for number one. And some of you guys, I hope you're watching this video. The YouTube version of the podcast, so you can kind of
check it out.
Hear me defend myself. They hated my number one pick. They hated that I chose Space Mountain as number one.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Well, the list is old now. And is it my favorite roller coaster in Florida? No, it's not. I didn't pick it because I love it more than anything in the world. I just picked it for the historical significance,
the nostalgia factor.
Nostalgia. It's got a iconic value to it in Florida.
Absolutely.
And I just thought,
we've talked about this before, but I mean, that was my first ever roller coaster.
It was my first. I don't know if it was my first, but it was my first like Florida Disney coaster.
Yeah.
And I went on it as a kid. I'm taking my kids on it now.
Right.
And
exactly.
So it brings out a lot of feelings, more so than just about any roller coaster in Florida that I could think of.
Agreed.
And so I put that as number one. People hated that. How could you put Space Mountain as the number one coaster in Florida? That's, epic list fail, because they thought Mako should be number one. Mako, the biggest, it's the biggest roller coaster in Orlando. It's huge. It's this huge hyper coaster, and I put it on the list, but I didn't put it number one because that I tried to pick roller coasters that were sort of
unique.
Yeah, unique, and
there's a lot of roller coasters like Mako in the Six Flags around the country, right?
There's a roller coaster called Raging Bull in Six Flags Great America up in Gurnee, Illinois, and another one called Apollo's Chariot at the Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, which are very identical. They're a very similar roller coaster.
Yeah.
Very similar to Mako. In fact, it's very similar ride experience. And those are 20 years old, so it's not.
Right.
Mako is great. It's the biggest, fastest, tallest coaster in Orlando, but
it's not unique.
It's not so I was trying to go with stuff like the Mummy.
I mean, I guess it's kind of unique to Florida, but it's not unique in the world of roller coasters.
No, exactly. So I added to the list. Is it top? I try to pick of things that are, you come to the theme park capital of the world, you come to Disney and Universal, where things are supposed to be
it's okay.
Bigger and better.
You don't have to defend yourself.
I know. I'm not, no, but so that's why I didn't put that there, because it's sort of an old concept. And then they also hated, I got just as much hate for putting Coastersaurus on the list at all.
That was a big one.
Yeah. So it's kind of a kid's wooden coaster, and I put that on there because the American coaster enthusiasts, this bunch of coaster geeks who know their stuff, listed it. They used to list it. They took it off the list actually as a coaster classic, a classic coaster.
Right.
And there's only like 13 of these in the country. There's only a handful in the whole world.
Yeah.
And it was the only Florida one, and it had certain attributes to it.
Certain characteristics, like a lap bar that you can
slide around and no headrest, no seat belt, but just the bar, and certain things. So I said, well, if the American coaster enthusiasts put it on this very exclusive list,
if it's good enough for them,
I'm going to add it on here.
Yeah, it's good enough for us.
And people said, that doesn't mean anything. It's a stupid ride. You shouldn't put it on there. So okay, fine. I apologize. You win. So we're going to redo the list, but we're going to redo the list.
Maybe your list should have been, I don't know. Because you do, I will say that you incorporated a lot of different requirements into different roller coasters. You know what I mean? So Coastersaurus was on there because it was a unique roller coaster that you don't see a lot in the world, even.
Right.
But Space Mountain was on there because of the nostalgia factor. So, I mean, you had very different requirements for various things. So it's not even like you could have changed the name to say most unique coasters or, anything like that.
If I had done that, maybe I wouldn't hear my inbox wouldn't be lighting up with hate mail every day. But Yeah, maybe.
But then you probably not as many people would have seen it.
Probably not, and
So.
we wouldn't be doing this right now. So, like you said, I tried to be more unique to Florida, but apparently that wasn't good enough for some people.
So talk a little bit about what you did.
So I went on a website called Ranker. I decided we're going to do this again, but we're not going to choose.
Right.
The universe is going to choose.
Right, you guys.
The internet is going to choose the top roller coasters in Florida.
Right.
So I went to a website called Ranker where you can create your own lists, and you can let people, you can load it up with stuff and let people vote. They can vote things up, they can vote things down.
Right.
And then they can create the ultimate list.
Kind of like a Reddit thing.
Kind of like Reddit, but like a survey type of thing. So I put every major roller coaster in Florida on here. And what I mean by major is no kiddie roller coasters. The Woody Woodpecker one isn't on here.
Yeah.
The little ones I
get it.
didn't put on here. So I just put big kid coasters.
What's the one at Disney? The Barnstormer?
Barnstormer's not on here. Stuff like that. I left that off.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then I just put the big ones on there, and I put this list on Twitter.
Did you include Coastersaurus?
I think I did.
Okay.
I think I did.
Okay.
We'll look at the list in a second.
Yeah.
But I put this list on Twitter, Facebook. I put it on Reddit. I went to the roller coaster subreddit and said, "Hey guys, help me out with this project I'm doing. Can you guys vote on the best roller coasters in Florida?"
And how many people voted?
I got 794 votes.
Nice.
So the methodology, I think, is pretty strong.
Okay.
This time, it's not just my stupid opinion. This is you guys.
Okay.
And I put it. I put this as a stickied comment on the YouTube video at the very top. So the first comment they saw was, "Hey guys, come here and vote on this if you." Since you
hate this
since
one.
you're mad at me,
right.
Make your own vote count. So
okay.
I have not looked at this list since I've created it.
Okay.
So we put it out there, and right now I'm going to look at it for the first time.
Oh dear.
Every roller coaster in Florida as the internet has voted.
So how many were there? There were like quite a few, more than 10, obviously.
30. There's 30 roller coasters in Florida.
And so are we going through all 30 or
no.
top 10?
I'll go through. I'll list number 30 if you want to hear what the worst one is, and then we will go down to the top 10.
Okay. And I can see number 30, and I agree.
Number 30, the worst roller coaster in Florida, according to the internet, is.
And I don't even know if it's a roller coaster.
It's.
I mean, it has a track, but whatever.
It's a style of coaster called the Wild Mouse.
Okay.
Primeval Whirl.
And
Animal Kingdom.
Aren't they like getting rid of that?
Probably soon. I think right now it's down to seasonal operation.
Okay.
It's only open during like the busiest times where they just need an extra ride to chew some crowd.
Yeah, chew some crowd.
And that's usually a sign that it's going to be gone. I know Stitch's Great Escape was down to seasonal operation before they decided to close it. So
good old Stitch's Great Escape.
If you get rid of Primeval Whirl, good riddance, because
it's number 30.
It's a carnival ride at a Disney park. So
what you got? What's number 10?
Let's read number 10, and we'll give our own comments about these. And if you have any coasters you want to hear about, like you have
I will.
Specific one you love.
Me. Because I see number 13, which is my lucky number.
All right.
Did
you read it?
I did.
Oh, did you see what it was?
I did.
We'll come back to those.
Yeah.
Number 10, the 10th best roller coaster in Florida, according to the internet,
is you guys.
Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith at Hollywood Studios, Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Okay.
Is that a top 10er for you?
Absolutely not.
No, it's not a top 10er for me either.
I mean, but the reason, so there's a couple of reasons it's not a top 10er. Number one for me is it's after the launch. It's not that great of a roller coaster.
It's not, and it's very short.
It's very short. There's only a couple of little like twists and turns or loops that are any good. The decor is like so 1980s.
The decor is it
90s,
looks dated. It looks dated. It came out in the 90s, but it looks cheesy now. Those glow light billboards that you fly through and stuff.
And even the intro video where like the lady's talking to, hey, what about them? Bring them along,
I always feel bad for the cast member in the back who has to yell.
What about some backstage passes?
Backstage pass, and that's a great idea. I love that idea. That Steven Tyler says, I love that idea.
Yeah.
And then you can tell some of the cast members, they get snarky about it later. You go in to go on the ride, they say something like, I've never seen that happen before, in like this deadpan voice. And then 90 seconds later, they have to yell out again.
Yeah,
how about some backstage passes?
I've seen a few actually where they don't even say it. Like they just don't even say it. Like it's just whatever.
That feels a little cringy to me to have to yell that out.
Oh, I'm sure
in front of a bunch of people at a TV screen.
I'm sure they hate it. But What do you mean a TV screen? You mean that's not really Aerosmith there?
I'm sorry. Did I just like break all your
You broke my
did
heart.
I break the illusion? Did I break the magic?
It's so real looking.
It doesn't look bad considering how
looks
old it
pretty
is.
bad.
You think it looks bad?
Yeah,
it
it looks pretty obviously fake.
I mean, yeah. Did you ever think it was really Steven Tyler back there and
No.
Aerosmith? Okay.
No.
Good.
Absolutely not. But so what was I going to say? Oh, the other thing though is the launch, which is most people's favorite part, which is my least favorite part, just seals the deal for me that it's...
You don't like the launch,
I don't
do
like
you?
the launch. No.
I love that stuff. I like the launch a lot.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
And after that, it's just kind of...
Usually, for me, the launch is something I get through to get to the good part, but...
And the rest of the ride's only
rest of the ride isn't that good.
Yep.
So, yeah. Although...
It's fun. I like the music.
I think
but it's not
said
my
this.
favorite. It's not top 10.
The music's good. I did say this, I think last time we talked about this, that I tried to embrace it last time and it wasn't as bad. So I think maybe I just need a few more times because you guys all like it. I don't think you love it, but you like it.
I'm a take it or leave it when it comes to the rock and roller.
So
rock and roller coaster.
So maybe I'll give it a couple more tries, see if I can, start to learn to love it.
Learn to love it.
All right, number 9.
Number 9. I think this is in my top 10. Revenge of the Mummy at
That is a great
Universal
roller coaster.
Studios. Yeah,
absolutely great roller coaster.
Revenge of the Mummy definitely holds up.
For sure.
It's really fun. It's got that rock and roller coaster element where it's in the dark.
Yep.
But they added like the horror stuff and the fire stuff and Brendan Fraser at the end yelling about his coffee.
You can't go wrong with Brendan Fraser yelling about his coffee.
I hope he gets some royalty for that. You think he still gets like a nickel every time they run that thing? And that's the only thing he's doing?
I seriously doubt it. Yeah, I love
not,
that.
He really
I love
blew
that
it.
ride. I think it's great. I think that the effects are really cool in it still. And
they still hold up when the fire is working, which usually I've been on it a few times where the fire's not working.
Oh, really? I don't think I've ever been on it without the fire
once or
working.
twice, and it's like, oh, that's a bummer because that's the best part of the ride.
So if you haven't been on the coaster, basically there's this one part where you go into this room and there's some scrims, with some stuff happening behind it that you can't really see, like somebody gets like attacked or something, and then all of a sudden like fire completely engulfs the room and across the ceiling, and then it has like some like kind of effect where like bugs are crawling all over the walls,
like
too.
Projector effect of bugs. It's really cool.
It looks really cool. Yeah, it looks like it doesn't look really real, but it looks pretty real. And so it's a really cool effect, and that's just one of the many really cool effects in that ride. Plus, even without those effects, the ride is a great ride.
The ride's really fun.
Yeah, it's a really great ride.
It's got some backwards and some forwards.
Yeah. So
it does have some of those corny blacklight effects that we just kind of bashed Rock and Roller Coaster for, but everything else
but
makes up for it.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Not that bad. So yeah, I think that's a great one.
Revenge of the Mummies, number 9. Number 8. This one, I could make an argument for this as being my number 1, actually.
Really?
And this is number 8 is Cheetah Hunt at Busch Gardens.
That's a good coaster.
Cheetah Hunt is awesome. It's got the launch that you don't really like, but
it does. It does have that.
It's got like 3 launches, I want to say, at least, right?
And they don't. It's been a long time since I've been on it. It's been several years since I've been on Cheetah Hunt, but I don't remember it bothering me like it does on Rock and Roller Coaster.
It launches you right out of the landing, the launch area right away, and then it launches you again up the hill, and then there's at least one more launch down the way a little bit.
My biggest memory from that roller coaster, honestly, is the side to side motion that you get from the roller coaster that feels like a cheetah running.
That's what they designed it. They tried to design it
and they did it perfectly.
Like you're a cheetah.
Yeah, they did it perfectly.
So
that's exactly what you feel like. You feel like you're a cheetah running.
Right. You're launching after your prey. You're taking off 60 miles an hour, and then you kind of slow down a little bit, and then there's that. I love the part where you're going really low through those canyons.
Yes, that's cool
side
too.
to side.
Mm-hmm.
That's very fun. Yeah,
it is. It's a really good ride.
It's got a good drop on it. It's got I like those launches. So to me, that's very cool.
Yeah, I remember thinking it was a great ride for sure.
Yeah, Cheetah Hunt's
Even
great.
though it's been a while since I've been on it,
and
I have fond memories.
Super smooth too. It does not bang you around. It doesn't beat you up. It's just really, really smooth. So still relatively new. And the last time we've been on it, it was actually even newer. So
yeah, I think it was kind of brand new when we went on it.
Even steel coasters can get a little rough after
Yeah.
a while.
All you have to do is ride Kumba to know that.
Kumba is a great example. The Hulk at Universal, that thing was really, really rough for a while. Then they had to
Oh, then they kind of tweaked it.
retract it. Yeah, because that thing had a bad reputation. Okay, number 7. I actually really like this one too.
Okay.
Kraken at
okay.
SeaWorld.
Yeah.
So this is a steel floorless coaster at SeaWorld.
It is.
Super fun in the front row.
Yeah.
Great in the front row.
It's like 4 across, right?
It's 4 across, and when it's floorless, but it's not you don't hang from the track above you. The track is below you, but
Yeah.
the vehicle doesn't have a floor. It kind of pulls away. So when you're,
And it's a crazy drop too.
it's got a really good sized drop. Got a lot of got some
I remember
loops.
that.
The thing about this though is if you're not in the front row, it doesn't really feel too much different than any other roller coaster.
Yeah, because yes, you don't have a floor underneath you, but you're not really looking at the floor a whole lot.
No.
Yeah.
But when you're in the front row, you just see your feet dangling over the track, and
Yeah,
it's so
and you just see the
fun.
track. There's
Yeah.
no like front of the ride vehicle.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. Front row, it's probably the best, in my opinion, best front row roller coaster in Florida. It's great. If you can wait extra for front row, do that. I have not done the VR for this. They had that VR thing running for a while.
Do they still?
I think it's called Kraken Unleashed. I think they do still have that.
Okay.
I'll have to verify that because I'm not sure.
Cool.
But I've not done any of those VR roller coasters yet. Have you seen that where you wear a
I
VR
have.
headset?
There was one at Legoland too.
Legoland
right?
has one now, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's synced to the ride. So as you okay? You got something in your eye?
Yeah, I got something in my eye. I'm
So
sorry.
as you're going and you're looking around and everything is synced to the roller coaster.
That's
so
cool.
I wonder what the.
I mean, you could also just like not wear a headset and look around. And
No,
then,
you don't have to do it. The option. That's the option to do it.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like a motion sick type of deal.
I doubt it because you do in the mask you're seeing motion too. It's like I can see getting motion sick if you're not seeing where you're going and you're having all these moves, but like theoretically what you're seeing in the mask is kind of matching the where you're going, right?
Theoretically, yeah.
So,
As long as there's no lag in the program.
yeah.
That was number 7, right? Number 6. I know you don't like this one. Are you reading my list? Are you cheating?
I'm
Are you
not.
copying off my paper?
I'm not.
Number 6 is
Maybe.
SheiKra at Busch Gardens. Busch Gardens has a strong showing here on the roller coaster.
Well, Busch Gardens is a roller coaster park.
Yep.
So
it's
that's
got some
what they're
good
known
ones.
for. Yeah.
SheiKra at Busch Gardens, you don't like big drops. So
Yes,
this ride is
that
nothing
is-
but big drop.
Pretty much when you go on SheiKra, like first thing you do is like go up this giant hill, and the second thing you do is they dangle you.
They hang you over the track, so you have a
dangle you over the
a
track
good couple seconds to look at the
for
ground.
several
and-
seconds, leaning forward, so you understand that you're about to fall to your death, and then
we hope not.
and then they drop you. And if that was just the beginning of SheiKra's like enjoyment, quote unquote enjoyment, I would be okay with it because I can handle big drops if I have a payoff. But SheiKra does like a half a loop and then like has another drop and then it's over.
And it's over. It goes to that splash
It's
station,
really,
which is cool.
really short, and there's not a lot to it other than drops.
It's not that long. This was one of the first roller coasters of its type in the world, the big dive coaster.
Yeah.
And usually when the first one, it gets a lot of hype, but it typically ends up being like the worst one later or the shortest one because it's the newest prototype version. Oh, here's SheiKra, the new dive coaster.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, other parks have one like
That's
it,
better.
and they're better because it's they were able to tweak it and make it longer and
Right,
things like
right.
that. But SheiKra's still fun. I like SheiKra a lot.
Yeah.
I love the big tall drop, and I love the.
You took our son on it just recently.
I did, and he was so scared. I remember him sitting there, locked in, and he's just like, I remember the shoulder restraints came down on him, and he goes, I'm starting to regret my decision. And this guy to my right started laughing out loud, looking at him like, this guy's hilarious. This kid's funny. And then the ride was over and he goes, that was awesome. So he really dug it.
Yeah.
He dug
yeah.
it. But
He's a good little roller coaster guy.
It's a great view up there. You can see downtown.
Oh, sure.
You can see the whole surrounding area.
That
very
is
fun.
true.
Number 5, we're getting into the fabulous
top five,
five.
yeah.
The top 5. Number 5 is Incredible Hulk
Okay.
at Islands of Adventure.
Yeah. That's a good one.
It's got the launch.
It's got the launch.
It's got the launch and it's got the drop.
It does.
Launch into a drop, a lot of turns. This one they just recently redid because it was very rough and they kind of rethemed it a little bit.
Have you ridden it since they rethemed it?
Not been on it since they've redone it.
Okay.
Because
I definitely haven't.
I think when we had Universal passes, they
The
were
last
like
time they were actually redoing it then.
they were redoing it. I went on it once and then they closed it a couple of weeks after that because I knew that
Yeah.
I heard they were getting ready to do it. So we haven't
That's
had
right.
we haven't been back to Universal in a while. We haven't had passes.
Yeah,
or
we
anything
got to.
like that. So
I think that's probably next year's.
yeah, I'm Jones gonna go back there. They got a lot of new stuff.
Yeah.
The new Hagrid roller coaster, and they're building a new Jurassic. There's actually a bunch of new roller coasters being built right now in Florida. So in in another year or two, this
might
list
have to
might be
make
a
a
lot
new
different.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Icebreaker, the new one at SeaWorld. There's the new Iron Gwazi. I keep saying Iron
We keep
Gwazi.
saying steel, but yeah, it's Iron Gwazi.
Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens. There's the new Guardians of the Galaxy one at Epcot.
Right.
There's a new Jurassic Park roller coaster being built right now at Universal. So
Tron. Did you say Tron?
Tron is being. Tron's the one that's running under the radar.
Yeah.
You can see it. It's right there next to Space Mountain.
Last time we went on the People Mover, which was just a few weeks ago, you could see they built a lot of the track.
Yeah, you can see the track, and it looks like they're putting the building around the track now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was cool.
that one's growing under the radar, I think, on a lot of people. People forget about Tron because of Star Wars just opened, and
Yeah.
good call. I forgot about that. Number 3, another Busch Gardens one.
Okay.
Busch Gardens dominates this. Is putting in a strong showing.
Okay.
Your favorite ride? Remember when we did the rides we'd get rid of?
Kumba?
Kumba. You don't like Kumba.
I do not like Kumba.
I actually love Kumba. It is rough.
It's very rough.
That's part of the fun, though, I think.
No, it's not.
You don't like your head getting banged around,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, my ears, I feel like I got punched in the ears repeatedly when I get off of Kumba.
It just has some like inversions. It's got some moments in it that are just very cool and just sort of very inspiring. There's some parts in it.
It's been a long time since I've ridden it. I will say that. So maybe I need to go again.
It's probably one of the most photogenic roller coasters on the list.
It's a lot of greenery around.
A lot of
it,
green.
right?
And there's that one specific, very iconic shot. It's right before you get in line for it. You're taking a right. There's a net there, so you can't throw anything at anybody. But
It's a good idea.
There's that, there's that scene where it's doing that twirl. It's spiraling around, and if you go to Busch Gardens and go on Google and Google Kumba, you'll see it's that shot, that iconic, iconic shot right there. Number 2, you ready to see number 2?
Moving right along. Okay.
We can get. Well, do you want to keep talking about Mako?
No.
Or Kumba? We could talk about Kumba
I
all
think
day.
we know what too
Did
much.
I just spoil 2?
I think you just spoiled 2.
Number 2 is the one that everybody yelled at me for not putting on number 1.
Okay.
And that's Mako.
Wow, it didn't make number 1.
SeaWorld. It didn't make number 1. See, guys? Everyone on YouTube is yelling at me for not putting it number 1.
Where was Mako on yours?
Mako, I think I put it number 6 on my list.
Okay. So it was in your top 10.
And then in hindsight, my list may not have even been in any particular order. Maybe I was thinking
No,
just
it was.
top 10, and then
I think it was in particular order.
it was in particular order, but I wonder, in my mind, were they really in that order?
Okay, I don't know. That's the larger psychological question that I don't know if we're going to get into tonight.
You're going to just like be the roller coaster shrink?
Yeah.
And
From my armchair psychologist chair. Anyway.
was Mako really number 6? Was it really?
All right, number 2. Mako.
Number 2 is Mako, the biggest, baddest steel roller coaster in all of Florida. This is at SeaWorld.
Okay.
It's a hyper coaster.
People love it.
There's no inversions on this thing. It doesn't go upside down at all. It's just a lot of airtime, a lot of huge hills.
Yeah.
If you've ever been on a roller coaster like this, like a hyper coaster, I love them. I mean, it's really, it's great. I mean,
you said Raging Bull's kind of like it, right?
Raging Bull at Six Flags was like the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And that I grew up in that area and I loved that thing. And so super fun roller coasters. What was I about to say? Oh, but like it's not, it's an older design and it's
Mako's not an older coaster, but
no, but it's an older design.
The design has been done.
But
like
is it the best roller coaster in Florida? It probably is. It probably, if you're taking
not according to this list.
This list, no, but I guess I'm not the one to decide that.
Yeah,
this is the internet.
Right.
But Space Mountain is not the number 1 roller coaster in Florida. People stop sending me hate mail. Number 1.
All right.
Number 1 best roller coaster in Florida, according to the internet, all the people that we surveyed.
Yes.
700, nearly. That was my drum roll effect. Hear that? Nearly 800 votes.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to agree with this. Is Monte at Busch Gardens.
Monte.
It's the number 1 best roller coaster in Florida, according to Reddit, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook on Ranker, and anyone who organically found this list.
Wow. I'm surprised.
Are you pleasantly surprised?
I do like Monte.
Monte's great.
Monte's a great coaster. It for a long time it was always my favorite coaster. It has a drop, but nothing like belly drops.
It's got
it's got
curving
kind of a curving drop that doesn't really drop your belly very much. Which that's a plus for me.
It's got a nice lot of inversions. It's very long.
It is, and it's a inverted coaster, so
you hang
from the track,
from the track,
which is always very cool. You're looking down, seeing your feet dangling.
Did you know when that thing first opened, that first little pond that you go over had crocodiles in it?
I do. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah,
they put crocodiles in there, and your feet were dangling over real crocodiles.
Yeah.
I forgot why they got rid of them. I think it was either people were
throwing things at them, shoes, or something like that. Yeah,
shoes were a flip flop would fall in there, and no one wants to be the guy who has to retrieve the flip flop out of the crocodile pit.
Right.
Or there's always some idiot who's going to throw a penny at one. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I rode Monte just recently with our son. I say recently, but it was in the last year or two.
Did you say it was more rough now than you remember?
It was
right?
rougher than I remembered it, but it's older too. I mean, it's aging, and steel coasters, like you said, get rougher with age. So, but it was still a fun coaster. Our son really liked it.
Yeah, he loved it.
Yeah,
he loved that thing. I love Monte's great. I love how long it is. It just, you feel like you got to ride on that thing. It's unlike Aerosmith,
definitely.
which is a little short. Or what's the other one we mentioned that we thought was a little too short?
SheiKra.
SheiKra is kind of short. Yeah, SheiKra's a little too short. So
my favorite's not on there.
What's your favorite? Oh, your favorite is
Expedition Everest.
Expedition Everest came in at number 11. It just missed it.
Oh, bummer.
It's funny because in Florida, Universal and Disney are the two big players. I mean, Busch Gardens and SeaWorld are two. They're like Disney and Universal are like A1.
And one A,
1B, right?
And
then
1A, 1B.
But this list has
a lot of Busch Gardens
and SeaWorld all over it.
Yeah,
there is not a single.
I think when it comes to guest experience, it's Disney and Universal.
Yeah.
When it comes to like roller coaster, like hardcore roller coaster thrill rides, it's Busch Gardens and SeaWorld. Absolutely. Yeah.
The only Disney World roller coaster to make the top 10 was Revenge of the Mummy. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that was Universal. Rock and Roller Coaster is number 10. And then Revenge of the Mummy and Hulk are the only two Universal ones. Do you want to know, are there any other ones you want to hear about that you're curious?
Well, I saw that Hagrid's Magical Creatures was number 13.
Hagrid's is number 13. I wonder, I've heard nothing but great things about this. Like reviews.
We haven't ridden it yet, obviously.
No, we haven't been over at Universal in a little while, but the reviews are astounding. Everybody said it's one of the best rides in the world.
Yeah.
They've gotten their act together. I remember at the beginning they had some issues.
Gotten their act together.
Well, I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard any more news about it breaking down. But the first couple weeks, it had long lines, and it had some breakdown issues. But that'll happen on a new ride.
Think about how many thousands of people are riding that thing in a couple of days.
That was, from what I understand, it was overheating. There was some kind of an overheating issue happening.
I'm sure. Yeah, because
there's a lot of
pump those people through,
and there's a lot of launches. You don't like launches, but this thing has. Well, I think the launches here are a little more tame.
It depends on the launch. It's not every launch that I hate. So
you want to hear what was
number 12?
Number 12 was Scorpion at Busch Gardens.
Oh, really?
That's weird. That's that high.
Well, it's very classic. Like, see, I see. Scorpion is kind of like a classic, kind of like Space Mountain in a way.
It's a good way to introduce a kid to
absolutely
a ride with like loops and stuff.
It's not too crazy. It's nothing really. Like, I remember we took, I think I took our daughter on it, and she was so scared because she tends to be really pretty scared about things when she hasn't done them before.
And then afterwards,
she loves it. So you just got to get her on it. Like, that's our thing. It's like, we just got to get her on
Kidnap her and force her in the seat.
Right. You will have fun. We're going to make you.
Mandatory fun.
So once you get her on it, though, she loves it. And that's exactly what happened with Scorpion. She got on it. She was scared out of her mind. She absolutely loved it. And we rode it like 5 times in a row.
That's what going upside down feels like? That's no big deal.
It's no big deal. So, okay. So just for curiosity's sake, what are 14 and 15?
Do you want to do the whole list?
No.
White Lightning and Mind Blower. These are at.
Never even heard of those.
These are at Fun Spot over at.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Okay.
Mind Blower looks awesome though. It looks like a great roller coaster.
Okay.
Number 16 is Space Mountain. That's the one that.
All right. It wasn't number 30.
Right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
And then just down the list here, Big Thunder Mountain is at number 18. I'm going to look at some. Coastersaurus was put in at number 21.
Okay.
Right ahead of Tigress and below Rip Ride Rocket. Slinky Dog Dash is number 23, one of your all-time favorites.
I actually really do like Slinky Dog Dash. It's one of those, another great ride to introduce a kid to a roller coaster on.
It's to me that's like Cheetah Hunt Light. It's like it's a smaller, shorter version of Cheetah Hunt. It's got a similar vibe to it.
It's just fun. It's just a fun ride.
It is a very fun ride. So
no real like thrills. It's just fun.
It's just put your hands in the air and
wave them like you just don't care.
So that's it.
That was awesome. I mean, I think that those were. I think that the internet universe chose wisely.
Maybe we should do a few more of these. Put some ranker lists together for other Florida things and throw them out there and see what people say and talk about it, digest it, and break it down on the podcast. So,
I like it.
Yeah,
I think that would be fun.
So that's the Redux version of our very first podcast where we talked about our own. So
happy 101.
And if you have any disagreements with this, don't take it up with us. Take it up with
the internet.
Take it up with the internet because they're the ones who chose on this. I had nothing to do with it.
Wow.
Mako should have been number one on.
Bitter, are you?
I'm not bitter at all. I think it's hilarious. Actually, I think it's funny. So
it is funny.
I learned not to don't engage trolls on YouTube.
No.
That's the worst thing you can do.
Just ignore them.
Yeah. I don't think that there were trolls. Nobody was,
No, they just have very strong opinions
about roller coasters. It's all good. So keep the comments coming on there because
if you haven't checked it out,
I think it's fun.
Go check it out.
All right. So that's it for this week. We'll talk to you guys next week. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you guys so much for listening. If you like this podcast, please support us by giving us a review on Apple Podcasts and sharing us with your friends and family. You can find us on Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, or pretty much anywhere you download a podcast. Another more direct way you can support the show is by visiting our website, sunshinestatepodcast.com, and clicking through on the button that says Become a Patron. It's a safe and secure way you can support the show, and there are different levels, some of which will give you bonus content and even qualify you as an advertiser on the show. There's also an Amazon link on our webpage. If you click through on that link and just make your normal purchases, Amazon gives a commission to the show at no cost to you. You can also follow us on Twitter or Facebook. Our handle is @FloridaPodcast, or search Sunshine State of Mind on YouTube. And be sure to check out our website at sunshinestatepodcast.com. We'll see you next time.